All right, well, welcome everybody back. Let's get started. How we're going to accelerate your marketing with ChatGPT. I want to get right into it and get to the goods. First, let me give some thanks to our sponsors today. That is number one, the Mindshift podcast, which is the podcast of yours truly. Yes, I'm the host of the Mindshift podcast. You can find us live anywhere you listen to the Mindshift podcast, Apple, Spotify, Google. It doesn't matter. iHeartRadio, we're there. Second sponsor is my company, Yoka Local Digital Marketing Agency. We started in 2011, have been helping companies grow now to the tune of 300 million plus over the last 11, 12 years. Super excited to work with entrepreneurs and mid-sized companies there. And last but not least, the Mindshift Business Academy, which is my brand new academy I'm super excited about. We're launching really soon, and we'll talk more about that a little bit later. Let's get into it. ChatGPT, what on earth is it? Well, let me give you a quick backstory. I didn't have a clue. I mean, obviously, we've heard of AI and we know what AI is. We've been using Siri and Alexa and things of that nature, and a lot of other technology that we don't know about behind the scene that is actually powered by AI. But let's just get a realistic definition. ChatGPT is an AI language model that is designed to understand and generate human-like text, right? That responds in a natural language, input and output. And it can answer questions, generate ideas, and actually hold conversations. And that is what we're really going to be talking about, is how you can have conversations with ChatGPT as if it was your assistant. And that, for a lot of you, if you don't have big teams, if you don't have an executive assistant, if you don't have a VA, if you don't have a marketing assistant, you're going to see the power of this in just a short while. Okay, well, how does it work? Well, ChatGPT takes inputs, questions, statements, input, and then analyzes the input. And let me tell you something, it analyzes it fast, and it generates responses based on the patterns that it has already been programmed and learned over time. So it uses some contextual clues, it uses linguistic rules, and let me tell you, it produces responses. Some of them are not all good. Let me be clear. We'll talk more about that as we go, but it produces responses in insane rates and insane speed. It is absolutely incredible. And so you can use it in all sorts of ways, unlimited by nothing more than your imagination. When I said in the email and in the messaging leading up to this, I think I stopped counting at 37 different things that I'm doing with it right now. I guarantee you, I'm just barely scratching the surface. We're obviously not going to cover all 37 today, but how else does it work? Well, this is the power of it, right? You can hold conversations with ChatGPT as if you're talking to, yes, a human, although it's not a human, it's obviously technology. And what's really powerful is that it can remember previous conversations. So what happens is, if you're not familiar with AI, and what it really does is it's a learning model. And the more information you give it, the more it can remember, so that it gets better and better and better. I know many of you have used Alexa in years past when it first came out, or used Siri when it first came out, or been in your car and used the voice GPS when it first came out, and it didn't always give you the best results. Well, here we are now with ChatGPT. It's very similar. So you're going to be able to take what it brings and what it's learned, and then start to teach it and feed it, just like you would teach an employee, just like you would teach a staff member, just like you would teach your child. The good thing is, though, is that it already has a repository of learning, since they've been bringing this to market since, I believe, 2015. And you can use it to just literally accelerate. And I don't want to make this sound like hyperbole, but I know what it takes me to do. I know what time it takes me to do the things that we do in our agency. I know what time it takes to draw strategy plans and write social media posts and all of these different types of things. And I'm telling you right now, the average time savings in my life, in my world, and I'm good at this, is 60 to 70%. And so I'm really encouraged to share this with you. Let me stop for anyone here who's watching this who does not know who I am. I don't want to spend too much time going on this, but I think you should know who I am, a little bit of backstory. I am a 6-time founder, got bit by the entrepreneurial bug at the age of 19 when I was in college. I've started numerous businesses, and then have coached and worked with, in our agency, hundreds and hundreds of companies. I started my online digital journey, digital marketing, in 2003 with email. And if you're not inside the Facebook group, you should jump into the Facebook group over at Growth Driven Entrepreneur. And we've got a number of presentations there. One where I talk about the journey of email and why email is still the #1 asset and strategy on digital platforms today. You should be able to check that replay out. We started our agency again in 2011. We've had a tremendous amount of success there. Digital marketing is obviously very challenging. It changes every day. Our agency, we're responsible for helping companies grow revenue on platforms we don't own. And so it takes a specific type of skill set and focus to do that. I've been an investor, business advisor, and a mentor to a number of companies, entrepreneurs, now moving into coaching, teaching, and training online. I'm originally from Las Vegas. Most people think, well, no one's really from Las Vegas, right? I mean, what did you do when you grew up? Well, like the same things you did where you grew up, went to school, went to the park, went to the movie theaters, went to the grocery store every now and then, played football, all that stuff. But I make jokes about that because when I travel, people are like, you're really from Vegas? Yeah, man. Yeah. I have an unhealthy obsession with the Food Network, I have to admit. I'm a cook in my off hours. I love to cook for my family. Took a passion of cooking, came up maybe in the early 2000s. I spend more time on the Food Network now than I watch sports, which is just absolutely amazing to me because I'm an athlete at heart. And last but not least, I love teaching and coaching. I'm excited to have you here. I'm excited to, really just share what I've learned and share things that I've experienced and how to help you really move your learning and your journey along faster. If you're interested and you're not already, you want to follow me anywhere on social media, you're going to find me mostly at Mr. Daryl Evans, except on my Facebook page where it's Daryl Evans Fan. And of course, I would love for you to check out the Mind Shift podcast on Apple, Spotify, Google, anywhere that may be. And I would love to get your feedback there. Podcast is now 3.5 years old. We're super excited. We've had some unbelievable interviews. There are still many, many more to come this year. And of course, I'm dropping some knowledge bombs on Monday. Interview shows are on Tuesday. Let's get into it. Next up, let me cover quickly for those of you that are not familiar with my growth methodology, just really quickly. Again, in the Facebook group, you're going to find some more information about this. But the lean growth method is something that I developed back in 2000 when I was really making the big jump into entrepreneurship and really saying I drew a line in the sand and pretty much said, hey, there is no turning back. And what was really interesting for me was I had to decide at that point what I was going to do to market and grow my business, to market, grow, and scale this thing. I had a vision, I had an idea, I was committed, but I didn't have a lot of cash, didn't have a lot of money. And so I came up with really, I didn't come up with it. I think God just said, hey, look, this is how you got to think because these are the resources that you have available. So number one, the first thing to think about before we jump into marketing anywhere is to really figure out how we're going to get started. I know for a fact that many of you watching this are overwhelmed. Like there's no shortage of webinars, there's no shortage of YouTube videos, there's no shortage of blog posts, there's no shortage of email lists, there's no shortage of funnels, there's no shortages of launches, there's no shortage of experts, even myself, I'm included. And if I'm not your guy, it's perfectly fine. If after this, I'm not your guy, find the person. But here's what we got to do. Whenever I'm coaching and counseling and advising a company, the first thing we're going to do is start to evaluate what I call the lean growth method. Daryl, I need help growing. Daryl, I need more customers. Daryl, we need to get on the first page of Google. Daryl, we need better social media presence. Daryl, we need to run better ads. Great. The first 30 days, we're going to spend time and make sure we map out this plan. So I'm going to run through it with you real quick. If you're new to me, this is going to be helpful. If you've seen it before, sit tight. I'll get through it as quick as I can. Number one, who is the one buyer persona that we're trying to market to? So when we start thinking about what we're going to do with ChatGPT, we're not trying to do it for all of the types of buyers. See, in my agency, I work with corporate, big companies, enterprise style companies, middle-sized companies, startup companies, just growing companies, solopreneurs, but you cannot work with everyone at the same time. So when you're just getting started, you're ready to market, grow, and scale. Let's pick the one buyer. Number two, we want to pick the problem. What is the one problem that we know we can solve and we can go to market with right away? When we jump into ChatGPT, don't try to solve all the problems. You can't do it. And again, there are layers when you can do it, but you can't solve them all at the same time. Number three, one traffic source. Where are we going to find this one person with the one problem online? And let's get laser focused. I get a lot of pushback, even from big companies that are already 5, 10, 30 million, 50 million, 100 million or more. Then they want to do 1,000 things. Like every meeting, they got something new they want to talk about. I'm like, no, slow down. Let's take care of this one thing. Let's go find them in this one place. That could be social media for you. That could be even inside of social media. That could be Facebook for you. That could be Instagram for you. That could be YouTube for you. It could be LinkedIn for you. If it's digital, it could be Google, could be Bing, could be wherever. Okay. Next, content rules the world of the internet. So you've got to choose one content model, one framework model at the very beginning. You've got to choose one and stick with it. Not doing Instagram carousels this week and then reels next week and then long form YouTube next week and then a podcast the following week. You can't look at someone like me who's at 12 years with a big team and think, I want to do all this stuff. And by the way, whether you have a big team or not, I'm flying solo today. My whole team is on the weekend. They're on the break. So when you're a solopreneur, you got a small team, let's pick one content model. We're not here to decide what that model is today. We'll show you how ChatGPT can help you with all of them. But then next, one conversion process. One conversion process. One conversion process. What does that mean? That means if you do a webinar all the time until you've grown that model to at least $500,000 to $1 million. If you're doing one-on-one face-to-face, great. If you're doing email marketing and conversion there, great. If you got a Shopify store, great. But don't try to combine all of these different sales mechanisms, these sales models at the beginning. Okay. Next, what is the one offer we're going to present to the one buyer on the one problem when we find them in the one place with the one content model and we convert them the one way? What is the one offer that's going to work? What's the one offer they need? What's the one offer you have in your bag of tricks? Right. So at the agency, our one offer is we do it all for you. Not you do some and we do some. Not you do 3 or 4 things and we do 84 things. We do it all for you. Now, as the years have gone on, we do have some hybrid relationships. But what we made a decision at the agency is we don't want to be vendors for our clients. We come as strategic partners and as a marketing department. That was a strategic decision. In your business, whatever that looks like, what is that one offer initially? Now, it could be that you do one-on-one, then you do group and other things. But again, at the beginning, when you're getting started, let's get one. And then let's get one delivery mechanism. Let's make sure we know how to deliver what we're delivering in a one specific way. Okay. So I hope that's helpful. If you're new to my work, the lean growth method is something I've been living by for easily 23 years. Now, I have not shared this with the Facebook group, Growth Driven Entrepreneurs. I haven't shared it much in our email list. Our agency clients know this. So I wanted to bring something in from a perspective, because before we jump into ChatGPT, I want to make sure you understand how to think about what to do inside of ChatGPT, how to think about what you're doing really in your marketing. And that is, and people find it hard to believe, but I've been talking about these 6 questions for decades, since literally my 20s. And they literally power everything we do in our agency when we're working with clients, when I'm coaching, it's all of the things we're thinking about. Okay. A little extension from the lean growth method, but here we go. If you nail these 6 questions, and anytime your marketing's not working, go back to these 6 questions, you will never need anything else. You literally have everything you need. I've been using this so long, it's simple. You just have to keep coming back to these questions whenever something's not working. Number 1, who is my ideal customer? And I want to just put a distinction here, different from the previous page. One buyer persona. What I want to talk about now is what are their problems and the pains that they're going through. And I'm going to show you a little trick today on ChatGPT that if you're maybe moving into a new market, or maybe you're a little stale, or maybe you've been in the frame of your customer work too long that you're not clear, we're going to show you something there. Number 2, how will they find us online? Okay. Kind of going back to where we were before. What's this traffic source? What we want to know now is, where will we find these people online, or where will they find us? Okay. Where do we ideally want to find the people who are ready to take an action with our product or service? Now we get into real marketing, right? How do we take perfect strangers and turn them into leads? People visit your website, people visit your social profile, people are on your email list. How do we actually get them to raise their hand and say, I want to engage in a dialogue with you or your business? Next is, how do we turn those leads into customers? There's no shortage of ways to get leads, lots of ways to do it. It's actually fairly easy. I put out a few messages on social media about this class, and we had easily 30 new subscribers within the first day or 2. It's not hard to get leads, especially if you understand the problem and the pain. The issue though is, how do we get them to come in, become a lead, and then eventually become a customer of ours? Another big question to ask. And then how do we turn those customers into raving fans, right? getting a customer once is great. I'm very excited to, I'm still blown away that we have a couple of customers at the agency who've been with us now since 2001, since 2011, one since 2012. God knows that I would love that all of them who started with us back in the day would still be with us, but that isn't the story. But it is super humbling to know that we have, and by the way, that's just a couple, we have a handful of customers who've been with us a decade. It's absolutely incredible. So how do we turn customers who may have bought from us one or two times into raving fans where they stay with you a long time and or they're referring you new business? And lastly, how do you build a scalable system for growth? Obviously, this is a 10-pound, 100-pound elephant, 100-pound gorilla for a bigger conversation, not today, but let's keep going. Before we jump into GPT, we got to understand that the number one ingredient, like it or don't like it, is content. Like it or don't like it. The number one ingredient to your success online is content. You can avoid it. You can run from it. You can hide from it. You can say it's not true. You can say, I don't like it. You can say, I don't want to do it. You can if you want. But the truth is, you're going to need content. Content where? You're going to need content, or sorry, what types? You're going to need content in 3 different forms, one of 3 different forms. You don't have to do all 3, but you're going to need one of 3 or all of the 3. I would tell you to pick the one that works best for you. If you're a writer, write. If you're not a writer, speak. If you're not a speaker, then do video. If you don't like video, you're going to have to find someone who can help you do it. But these are the 3 ways that content shows up online. Obviously, if you've hung out with me for any length of time, and if you're new to me, okay, video is the number one medium for a number of reasons, which I won't get into today, because again, we have a class inside of the Facebook group where I talked about video pretty heavily. And I talked about the $1 a day social media strategy, as well as the content creation formula that is literally one of the best formulas I've ever used. I've been using it for quite a while. All right, where do we put this content once we have it? Obviously, websites, blogs, social media, email, video, etc. All the places that you're already known about. Unless you're brand new to marketing online, you know this. You probably have content. You probably have the things necessary. But maybe today we're going to find a way to move a little bit further. But here, let's cover the elephant in the room. Because when you agree that you have to have content, you agree it has to be in writing, it has to be here, there, and everywhere. Here's the problem that I experience. Here's the problem that I still experience. Here's the problem most of my clients experience. Even the ones who are crushing it in the game, they still wake up one day and they say, I don't know when I have a blank screen, what I'm supposed to do. Anybody here have blank screen syndrome? You're smart, you're wise, you're experienced, you know exactly what to do in your business until it's time to open the dock and create something. Or if this was a video, you turn on the camera and you're like, I don't know what to write. I don't know where to start. I don't know what I should say. Did I say it right? You edit yourself to death and you never publish. You never produce, right? Go back to the content formula. We talk about the formula there, the 4 steps. And Aaliyah says all the time. It's amazing. So what do we do to get over this? And that's what I'm excited about. Like, I am just like you. That when sometimes I sit down with a blank screen, it's why I haven't written a book yet, right? Amy says, yep, raising her hand. She's like, yep, all the time. So we're going to get over blank screen syndrome today. I think that's what you're going to find with ChatGPT. We'll talk about some caveats. We'll talk about some things you got to be aware of. But let me tell you, but here, let's talk about some other problems that I'm hearing. And by the way, I just had to condense these into a few. And here they go, right? I don't have time. Daryl, I know I got to create content, but I don't have time. My agent, my clients, Daryl, I know I got to create content, but I don't have time. Can y'all do it? Sure, we can do it. I don't have the skill to do it. Now, that's a lie. You actually know how to, if you talk and you have made sales in your business, you have the skill. You're just making excuses. I don't have the strategy. I'm not a marketer. I don't know what to post. I don't know what to say in the videos or the podcast. I don't have anybody to help me with it. I don't. My friend, can I coach you for a minute? Can I coach you for just a moment? I need to coach you for a moment because, what did I do here? I got to coach you for just a hot moment, if you'll allow me to. And that is, these are all excuses. They're all excuses. At some point, we didn't know how to drive a car. At some point, we didn't know how to set up a website. At some point, we didn't know what to post on social. At some point, we didn't know how to do what we're doing in our business. At some point, the thing that we do that gets us paid every day in our business, we didn't know how to do. So I want to just say to you, this whole new revolution of AI, it's new to me. It might be new to you. We'll figure it out. We just have to make sure we are careful to make sure we're not putting our own ideas, thoughts, and negative energy into a space that'll hold us back. Because it doesn't matter what I say, it doesn't matter how many YouTube videos you watch, how many courses you follow. This is what I've learned in my years, is that as long as I continue to believe the excuses that I set for myself, then I'll never move forward towards the dreams that I'm chasing. Okay, so my invitation for you today is to shift your mind so you can shift your results. Shift your mind so you can shift your results. That's what we say in Mind Shift all the time. You see, the journey from inspiration to realization is one of constant and never-ending change. Okay, the parent company of my podcast is called CANI 365. CANI 365. It stands for constant and never-ending improvement, 365 days a year. And that's what I've noticed over the years from most achievers, from people that reach the highest levels of whatever it is they're doing. They're always taking steps to improve. They take the results and they make changes. Today, we're no different. Shift your mind so you can shift your results. That's the way we do it in Mind Shift. And with that, let's see. Are you guys ready? Let me take a quick break, get some water really fast. Who's in the room? Who's in the room? Looks like Frantoni's in the room. If you guys are ready to go, drop a 1 in the chat. If you are here, I am going to refresh the Facebook page. Take a quick sip. Frantoni is ready. Leah's ready. Amy's in the background. I'm pretty sure she's ready. Let's do this. Let's do this. I'm going to start at the beginning. Let me log out first just to make sure everybody knows how to start from the beginning. What I want to do over the next 30 minutes is, first of all, I want you, before we get started, I want you to go ahead and in the chat, because this is a small group today, I want to make this as interactive as possible. I want you to think and jot down in the chat. I want you to drop down in the chat 1 to 3 things in your world that you would love to see if ChatGPT can help you do. Now, go ahead and take a minute. Let's do this. I'm going to go ahead and pause for a second. In the chat, drop down what you would like to see happen. If ChatGPT could do it for you, what would it be? And while you're doing that, I'm going to give you some inspiration and some ideas, because this is what's been happening in my world. I'm going to give you some inspiration and some ideas. These are all the different types of things that we've been doing in ChatGPT to explode marketing productivity. We've been doing. If you've got some background noise, I would love it if you could mute yourself. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can do that. Awesome. We'll unmute for Q&A here in just a little bit. Thank you so much. But listen, I'm only putting this on the screen. We're not going to cover all this today, but I really want this to be about you. Okay. So I want you to think, what is it that you do that you're struggling with? And I want you to think back to what we were just talking about, of all the different types of things you could do. And I want you to let me know what I can help you with today. If I can show you, because here's, okay, we got a few things coming in. Okay. I would love to see how it creates course outlines. Leah says. Amy says content generation and planning of my posts. Awesome. Amy, expand just a little bit. Content generation, is that social media content, blog content, and planning of posts on social media or blogs? Just give me a little bit more, because I want to make it a little as specific as I can. Okay, great. She says social media. Deborah, welcome to the call. She says creating a lead capture page. Okay. That's a little bit more in depth, but I love it. SOPs. Frantonia is like SOPs for my social media marketing. Amazing. You guys can keep dropping those in. The chat is, I'm going to keep the chat window open so I can see your questions there or see your feedback. But here's some things. I'm going to go through it really, really quick. These are all the things these are lots of things. They're not all of the things. And I got to tell you, I think I'm probably north of 100 hours playing with ChatGPT, but not playing with it. I mean, literally doing the things that I would normally do in the agency. And these are just some of the things. I'm going to just leave it here on the screen. I'm not going to read it off, but I'm going to read off a few of the ones that have just been mind-blowing to me. Okay. Amy says, I'm doing the work during the day, so I need to pre-plan my content. Awesome. So fantastic. I get it. 90 days of engagement content for the free Facebook group. Awesome. Okay, we're going to take these a couple at a time. These are fantastic. Let me just give you some ideas of what I've been working on. We're in the advertising business, so writing headlines for ads. When I look at Google, we look at Facebook, we look at all of the different platforms. We've got to have headlines, good descriptions, and so it's been great to get good ideas around a topic or a subject of our product or a service. Titles of videos and blog posts, amazing. Product descriptions, landing page copy, to Deborah's point, features and benefits of products. We had a brand new customer come to us in an industry we hadn't worked with. And people say, well, why do you take that client on if you guys don't work in that industry? And I have a rule of thumb that's always worked for me. And that is, if your product or service is purchased by a human, then the things that we understand about human behavior applies to them. It doesn't matter if I understand your product or not. Ooh, that's a big one. People think I'm crazy, but I'm like, no. Until you sell to aliens, I'll be out of that conversation. But as long as you sell to someone who looks like us, breathes like us, stands like us, puts shoes and socks on the same way we do, they have the same human emotions. They all have the same fears, worries, concerns, doubts, frustrations, and angst. They have it all. So until my friends love it, until we start selling to aliens, then I'll back away from that statement because it's absolutely true. So here's the one that's blown me away. You guys heard me say I've got a podcast, the Mindshift podcast. Blown away by me having to write titles and descriptions and interviewer questions. And it's just been absolutely incredible. Sales and promo emails, meta descriptions, intro and lead paragraphs to blog posts. You guys, if you're not following me on social, I've started to get into the short form video game, on and on and on. But let's get into your stuff. That's what I've been doing, but let's get into your stuff. All right. Drop a 1 in the chat if you have a ChatGPT account. Please, there better be all ones in this chat. I know there better be all ones. All right. All right, good. I was gonna say, if not, you got to go get one. I want to share with you guys, this is something that I'm not sure anybody's aware of, or if you're aware of. There is an absolutely amazing Chrome extension that I need you to install. If you use Chrome, I need you to either take a screenshot of this, and I hope you use Chrome because it only works in Chrome, but I need you to install this extension. This extension is essentially, look at it. It's got 1,300 prompts shared by people who are using it in various ways. And it brings these prompts in, and we'll talk more about prompting and why prompts are the key to getting what you want out of ChatGPT. But I need you to make sure you get this AIPRM ChatGPT prompts. Caveat. It is being said, as anything, because everything up to this point has been free. We're hearing rumors that they're going to start charging for this in the near future. So I'm not saying you're going to be able to use it for free forever, but we are able to use it for free for now. And so you're going to go into your Chrome extension store, install it, and then every time you log into ChatGPT, it will be here. Now, why do I bring this up? Well, if you look at the different types of categories that are available from this by itself. By the way, I'm going to teach you how to write prompts today. I'm going to teach you messaging around how to write prompts because we cannot rely on third-party tools. What I would tell you is this. I'm going to show you how to use these current prompts that are available that other people have put together, and then how to get the prompt done. I don't know if everybody knows how to do this. Frantonio, you said you've got it installed. Hopefully you've seen this. But some people don't realize that when you use these prompts that are already pre-engineered, it doesn't tell you what the prompt is that got the result. And so I didn't know this for a few weeks into using it, and I'll show you how to get those prompts so you can copy and paste the prompt and your results out into your world. For those of you that also don't know, notice here, let me just throw this up. You can see all of the different types of things that are being categorized. And obviously marketing is in here, productivity is in here, but let's just do marketing. So there's 137 different prompts for marketing. If you're trying to do SEO, there are 329 prompts for SEO. I don't see social media. Copywriting is another one, 495 prompts. Now, by the way, I have only used probably 20 to 25 prompts. I don't have time to go through all of them. When I find things that work, I stay there. I stay in my lane. But the point is, this is a very helpful extension, plugin, resource. And again, there's over 1,300. Again, don't be overwhelmed. When you have a thing you need to do, Then you're going to want to think about how to engineer that and then keep the prompt for yourself in case this tool ever goes away. Before we start jumping into real live examples, I want to say this, and that is there's obviously ChatGPT is free currently. And if you are using the free version, you realize that it is slow, and because of the bandwidth and so many people trying to use it. Full disclaimer: I did upgrade to the plus version, which is $20 a month, and I just could not tolerate the. I couldn't tolerate how many times it was down, and if I'm trying to get something done, I can't tolerate it being down. So I went ahead and paid for the upgrade. I would believe and would recommend, if it is in your budget, that it's going to save you a lot of time. Yeah, Frantonia upgraded. Yeah. So listen, we're all entrepreneurs here. There are lots of software tools, and anybody who's been around me knows I'm not the person I'm not a tool junkie. I like to only have what I need that works. And right now, this is one that's really working well, and we're going to uncover that. So AIPRM, get that installed. If you're not, you're going to see how we're going to use it a little bit here. But today, I'm going to spend more time writing prompts with you for the things that you want to solve. And then I also want to encourage you to, again, consider, by the way, I get nothing by recommending that you buy ChatGPT. It just became live a few weeks ago, so I just jumped in with that. Okay, so what I wanted to mention is let me just come off screen really quick. What I wanted to mention as we get into this, ChatGPT, and you got to be careful, ChatGPT was programmed or has data up until, I think, June of 2021. So there's a 2-year gap roughly of data. So we've got to be careful in knowing that ChatGPT isn't always going to be correct with what you ask it to do. I've been saying this on podcasts, like the last 3 or 4 podcasts that I've been on as a guest in the last couple of weeks. I've been asked in every single one of them what my thoughts are with ChatGPT. And here's what I've been saying, and I want to share it with you so you can just archive it in your thoughts. And that is, ChatGPT will be best for the person who is already an expert at what they do and what the output should look like. If you don't know what your email should look like because you're just getting started sending emails to your list, you're not going to know if it's right or wrong. If you're a rookie in your craft, you cannot do too much reliance on ChatGPT. You need to know what it's supposed to look like. You can't just not know a subject, throw it into ChatGPT and take it at face value. I would recommend that, and that's going to be the case if we're learning something, we're going to need to do some follow-up and be able to determine, is this good output or is it not so good output? Now, I've had times when the output started, I've just stopped the generation because I'm like, oh, this is garbage. Okay. So the caveat is it's new technology. It's still going to learn. They're going to find the process that's going to bring it past the 2011. But let me be clear. You need to have a QC mechanism, either in your mind, your experience, or in your team, to be able to QC this. Because let me tell you, our agency, we're all over it. We're going a mile a minute on ChatGPT, but we've seen some garbage. And I think you guys all could agree. Let's go in here and start playing with some things. All right, I'm going to take them in the order that they popped in and just see if we can jump in. So Leah wants to create an online course outline. Let's do that. I've actually done that. So Leah, what's the course outline about? What's the course outline about? Give her a second to chime in. But while she's chiming that in, let me tell you what I would do when I first get started. Whenever I'm doing a prompt, and this is just something I've learned, what I typically do is I say forget all previous conversations. Okay. And then I say, okay. And ChatGPT is going to say, great, how can I help you? Okay. Next. So Leah is saying she wants to create a course outline. So what I tend to do, I'm not saying this is the only way. This is what I've been doing to try to get a better output. I've been saying, I am teaching a course on, I'm going to pick Leah's niche because I know her niche. Let me say starting a podcast, because I know that's one of her areas. Start a podcast. Okay, so she just wrote back, start a podcast. So I am teaching a course on starting a podcast. I would like you to act, key phrase, act as a copywriter and course designer and help me outline. I'm just going to put it in here right now, a 4-week course for a beginner. Now, let's just go ahead and hit return and see what happens. By the way, the structure, by the way, look at how fast this is. Look at how fast this is. I don't even have time to even say 2 sentences, y'all. This is how unbelievable it is. Now, Leah is in the podcast business of helping people launch and grow a podcast, both on the startup side as well as the production side on the back end after the show is launched on the weekly, monthly, or whatever the cadence of the episodes. I have a podcast, so I could critique this a little bit, but I'm not a professional at teaching someone how to launch a podcast. She would have to know. So the question now becomes, is if we look at this, is this a viable set of sequences for 4 weeks? Only she's going to know that, or someone who's in the business is going to know it. But in less than 30 seconds, there's a viable outline. Now let's take it a little deeper. The outline might be great, but what if, and by the way, I'll tell you what we're going to do. Since there's only 4 of us, let's, everybody, I'm going to unmute you. I'm going to unmute you so we can talk. That way we can refine this because there's only 4 of us in the room. Unmute. How do we do all that? You guys can all unmute yourselves. I thought I could do it all at once. Maybe I can. Tell you I don't have any help today. So let's see here. Leah, pop on if you can. And let's refine this a little bit. We'll do one example for everyone. I think this will be great. Leah, tell me, how does this outline look?
It's a really great start.
Great start. What would you change?
Yes. Actually, I would probably put like the equipment stuff down below.
So there's,
I'm sorry.
oh, you have a cold? Do you have a cold today?
Yeah, it's okay.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm sorry. You're not feeling well.
It's all good.
Okay. So
I would actually create a whole section about equipment.
Okay.
Room tone and all that kind of stuff.
Okay. So here we go. So it, thing, chat, GPT, the man, the woman, we didn't get exactly what we want. So here's what we do now. We just keep going and say, can you add a section about equipment? Notice we're in the same chat. So we're not going to go start a new chat. Now we did say a 4-week course, but here's an entire section now that is going to be typed up about the type of equipment. And it's just unbelievably ridiculous how fast.
And it added room treatment, which is really awesome.
Room treatment. Right. Now, here's a couple of ways to refine and get deeper, you guys. This is what it is. So it's saying here now, let's just say we're going to spend time just on this aspect of equipment. And it's given us the different types of microphones, condenser, et cetera, et cetera. But you could actually go in and say, because I know Leah knows what type of microphones are out there, but based on number 1, or you can say based on this part, what are the top 3 microphones in each category? Now, you may not agree, but you don't have blank page syndrome anymore, because if you were going to deliver this information to your customer or in your product, you're either going to have your opinions, yes, no, good, bad, or indifferent. But it gave us 3 USB mics. And obviously Leah's favorite is not there, the one that I'm using, which is the SM7. Is this B or V? I can't remember.
M as in Mary, V as in Victor.
So
7.
V. So Leah's a fan of the SM7V, but maybe she believes the Yeti is okay, which she doesn't. maybe she likes the Audio Technica, but she's like, yeah, this Meteor is not the thing. But now she only has to make one edit. Okay.
Wow.
The speed of this is unbelievable, but you are the one who has to know what it should look like. And we could keep this refining. What if we said, rewrite the course outline for 12 weeks? It'll rewrite the entire thing now and bring in, all you got to do is scroll down and watch it start to come out.
Will it bring in all the stuff that you added after the first outline?
Will it bring it after? It's going to rewrite the entire first outline and restructure the whole thing, because the first time it was applying for a 4-week outline. So it left a lot of things out. And now it's brought up all sorts of other things. Things like
Ooh.
legal considerations, collaboration and
Monetizing.
networking, live events, etc. Notice it skipped equipment again. Notice it consistently skipped equipment. I don't see equipment in here. Again,
Interesting.
but the point of it is when we go back to this idea of having blank screen syndrome, this is one of those things that helps any creator, any coach, any agency owner, any entrepreneur who needs to create content and agrees you can get past your blank screen syndrome very quickly. So let's just say hypothetically it gave you something you just didn't want to talk about. You don't want to talk about legal considerations, maybe because you're not an attorney, right? You don't want to maybe get into that conversation, because if you act like an attorney when you're not, you have consequences here in the United States, at least. So let's say you copy week 8 and you say, I don't want to cover the content in week 8. Provide a substitute for this week. Now it just randomly went out and found and build a brand. Whether you want that to be the substitute or not, it's like, oh, okay, gotcha, Roger that. I'll replace it. Uh-oh, Leah, is that happy or sad? I don't know what that emoji means. But any questions? I mean, again, you guys can all unmute and kind of fire off questions. But the point of all of this is, oh, she says mind blown. Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. Now let's go a little further. So now we've got this outline. Let's just say we like it. Let's just say we like it. Based on this outline, provide 10 potential names for this course. Okay, Frantonia's got a great prompt that could have been added. It says, combine all previous content, including legal considerations, to create the 12-week outline. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. There's no shortage of what you can do. Frantonia, you've been playing with this for a while, so I can't wait till you come alive on the mic. Okay, so now here are some potential outlines or some potential names for the course. And you might not like any of them, but at least it's helping you get some of these names out of your head. You could literally say, let's say I'm going to think for Leah, unless Leah, you quickly have looked at this, but let's say Leah likes this one. Based on this title, provide 3 course descriptions to consider. Everybody has to have a course description. You got to have a product description. Why not ask it for multiple ones at the same time? Right? And what's really interesting is it fires them off in seconds. Again, going back to what I said earlier, the only way you're going to know if these are good or bad is if you're actually in the game. Like, so people, I've been having this conversation more often than not, and it's going to come out on my Mind Shift Monday. And it's just like, we need to just take a step back. The tools like this are not going to take anybody's job, right? We're actually getting our job done more efficiently. And then the person who is going to go write this content for you or whatever, they're going to be that much further ahead. 3 course descriptions. What else do we need? What else do we need? We need, if we're launching a course, we have to have what, Leah? We have to have promo emails.
Yes. What I struggle at.
Now we can differentiate. We need promotional emails to our email list of subscribers who already know what I do. Right. Let's just write two launch emails. By the way, if you don't know how to write an email, it's a good place to start. Their emails are not great. I'm not going to lie to you. These emails are not fantastic. They're all, you'll find that the more you ask it to write emails, the more they look the same. They have the same sort of feel. But again, when you have to sit down and start with a blank email, let's just see what it said. Dear subscriber, obviously that'd be somebody's first name. It obviously wrote a headline. Again, I'm not saying these are horrible. I found that I have 26 years now in copywriting, so I have to, I can look at it through a slightly different lens. But for most, these are going to be great places to start to get away from that blank screen syndrome. I'm excited to announce that's not horrible. The Ultimate Podcasting name of the course, whether you're just starting out to take your podcasting skills to the next level, we created It's a comprehensive course, Not horrible. Let's look at the second one. Are you ready to start your own podcast? That's a great first question. Of course. Yeah, it's just not bad. I'm not even Leah's, I'm not even selling this for Leah, but this isn't that bad. This is not that far off. Now you got to make sure the email aligns to everything that you want to talk about. Let's do this. And this is Amy's question, or we're going to move to Amy's scenario in just a moment. Let's go to what else do we need? And again, by the way, this is in a way, maybe not exactly how you would do it, but let's see. Write 3 social media posts for, let's just say Facebook, because obviously, I mean, you could write them you can just generalize it, and then you have to treat them for each network. And again, I said just social media posts. I didn't say promo. These are all going to be promo style. It looks like they're all relatively promo style, which is okay. But again, by the way, a social media post could easily be an ad. I think you guys get the point here on Leah's example. If you want to unmute, if you understand this example, looks like everybody wants to stay muted today, which is perfectly fine. Leah, was that helpful?
So very helpful. Could I get a copy of that?
I will be able to get that out of here as soon as we're done.
Thank you so much.
It does take a bit to get it out. That's the only downside is the formatting of the software. You got to do a bunch of stuff. I recommend everybody take it out and put it into Google Docs or a Microsoft Word doc, and then you're going to have to strip out all of the funky code that comes with it. So it is a little bit hectic. There's no export button. Maybe one day in the future there will be. One thing I'll also tell you guys as a tip, and I don't know why, but I would recommend that you give ChatGPT feedback when it does a good job and when it does a bad job. On every section, I know it just takes an extra minute, but go ahead and give it feedback. If you liked the work, give it feedback. What do I mean by that? I will just do this one time and say, this is a good start. I don't know why, but I got a special message a week or so ago because I've been giving it feedback because again, it's learning. So if it's learning, we got to give it some feedback. Well, I get a message that said, due to the amount of feedback you've been providing, I don't even know what else it said, but it said, it was basically acknowledging me for the fact, and it was not ChatGPT, it was the people at OpenAI saying, thank you for providing the feedback. I'm trying to give it feedback as I get what I like. I try to give it feedback. If I get what I don't like, I try to give it feedback because I think it's just part of the way it works. Okay, so good. Let's go over to content generation for posts, and let's go to Amy. Social media, same thing. We almost kind of stepped into it. Amy, would you mind telling me what niche you're in? And that will help me refine this a little bit. And matter of fact, if we think about Deborah, if you wouldn't mind, give me an example of a type of lead capture page you would like to create. That way I can just kind of keep things moving. And then for Antonia, SOPs for SMM. I'm assuming maybe SOP from a standpoint. Yeah, let's just do that one easily while I wait on Amy to pop back in. So SOP for social media. So here's how I might start that. I am hiring a social media manager. Nope, I'm not even going to go that far. Act like a social media manager. Oh, got to get out of here. Sorry. Got to start a new chat. Be careful. It happens all the time. Be careful to not start a new chat in an old chat. Okay, so we're going to start us a new chat. First of all, let's just check the prompts. Let's see if SOP is even in here. Doesn't look like it. Let's go to social media. There isn't a social media. Let's go to just social media in general. And let's just see what's available. This is a good chance to pop in here and just see what's available. ChatGPT will be your social media manager. Interesting. 30 social media posts and image suggestions in one click. Interesting. So let's see here. Social media management reply, quotes. Let's go back though very specifically to Frantonia's idea here. So let's say I want you to act like a social media director who is putting together SOPs for our social media department. See how I changed that a little bit? I wanted it to go and think a little bit more strategic. We don't know where it's going to go. Eugene, welcome. Good to see you, my friend. So we're going to act like a social media director who's putting together SOPs for our social media department. Let's put the word marketing in there just to make sure. Can you assist? Certainly. Let's just see where this goes. Now, Frantonia, feel free to refine your thinking of this direction as you see this, because this looks relatively standard and broad. And this is, again, it's going to be very generalized here. I don't think there's anything here you don't know. You've been an entrepreneur for quite some time, been on social for quite some time. Feel free to unmute if you want to, but
yeah, forgive me, I'm overcoming COVID. So
oh geez, I'm sorry.
it's okay, I'm good. What I would like is to have more of like the step-by-step SOPs for daily operations.
Okay.
All right.
So let's refine this for step-by-step daily operations for my team. Okay. Not very detailed. So here's what we do though. So let's go back to the top. Identify social media platforms, define goals and objectives, define target audience, develop a content strategy. Let's go to this one and say, break down this portion, break this down. Let's see if it works. And again, it does take a little bit of playing with. And again, it's coming back fairly general. I can see that right away, but it did give a few other things to think of. Frantonia, are you looking for something that could ultimately end up becoming a project queue checklist that can be repeated time after time after time?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think what it's going to take, and again, the initial part of it is going to take some reworking and refining. But I think what we want to do here is look for, let's do this. Let's do it this way. Write a training manual for a brand new social media marketer, including standard, including a daily of tasks to follow. Let's start there. Maybe we're asking it for, and then maybe we need to ask it more specifically for more of a training manual. I think we're getting a little closer. So now it's going into best practices. So what I mean by we got a little closer is here's an action item, because an SOP is an action item. Would you agree?
Yes.
So we're getting a little closer. And by the way, you don't have to keep replying. If you want to just type, I know I had COVID a year ago, so I know how you might feel. Creating content, posting content, monitoring engagement. I think we're getting a little closer, but we're into this daily task list. And then let's just see if it can give us anything that would even help this one go a little further. Because what happens is, what I've done is I'll take something broad and then I'll pull it out section by section by section and ask it to go deeper. So let's just see what we can get from here. Break down, expand. I'm going to say expand. The words, I've found that the words that we use, we've got to think about what would we say if we were in our work environment, and what would we say if we were actually writing this out on paper. And so let's see if we can say expand on this by give us a project.
Ask it for the action items.
I'm sorry, one more time.
I said maybe ask it for the action items.
Give us a project management list of action items.
Mm-hmm.
See what comes up. Yeah, so in this case, it's staying relatively broad.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's pulling a piece here or there, but I think what we're trying to get to here is we're starting with a blank screen, and I think the other listen, let's do this. I'm going to show you one other thing that I love about ChatGPT that it can do. So let's say social media. Let's go Google social media SOP.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see if we can find something that's probably a little broad. Social media marketing SOP. We probably got to get a little bit closer to more of a, let's just see if I can find a quick example. Let's go here. This is probably not going to work. No, that's not going to do it. What I wanted to do is let you guys know that you can also have ChatGPT review another website. Don't copy, but you can have it review something that is on someone else's website so that you can use it for ideation right inside the chat. It doesn't look like I'm going to find a quick one here, but let's do a social media marketing. Let's do a content. Let's do a content. Let's go back to ChatGPT. Give us a content creation checklist. Yeah, it's caught in a little bit of a loop right now, which actually happens. I've seen this happen a number of times. It seems to be giving us a few things. This is actually bad. This one's not bad. This is not bad. So what we did was, now we asked for a content creation. We used the word checklist. And so determining, that's okay. Brainstorm, choose, develop, get the assets, create the content, edit and proofread, get the approval. This is a little bit better. This is a little bit better. And so, but you see how many different words we had to use to try to get to something that was even better. So was that helpful, Frantonia?
It is. Thank you so much.
No problem. And I'll do the same. I'll have my executive, if you guys can sit tight till Monday, I'll certainly get my executive assistant to pull all this out and get you guys copies of it all. But I guess the point to all of this is it does take some playing with, and it does take some refining of what you're looking for to kind of get it. But it can be literally helpful. And it just, again, gets rid of that blank screen syndrome. Let's move over to, let me see if Amy made it back. Is Amy still with us? She's there, but
I'm here. I'm just multitasking. Okay. I'm in health and wellness,
okay.
as well as mindset. So, which that's what I love about your niche. So yeah. So this content, I use Facebook a lot, and I'm also on IG. So this one and it crossed over. So just meeting like just content on health and wellness, and how to plan it so I won't have to constantly be on it because I work as a nurse during the day.
Yep.
And I'm working on transitioning into entrepreneurship full time. So I
Yeah.
really don't have, the time to do all that. So
Awesome. Can you, and congratulations on working your day job and getting your side hustle on. Salute to you. I think we've all done that. So congratulations. Can you tell me a little bit more specifically on the health and wellness, what area you're working in?
well, the program that the health coaching
I'm sorry, Amy, I think I lost you. Amy, I think I lost you, but if you're there, I'll sit tight. If not, I have something on the screen I think might work for you.
Hello. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're back a little bit now. Little broken up, but yeah, what was that niche again? In the health and wellness?
So health and wellness. I'm a contractor with a popular health and wellness company, but it's a program. So it has to do a lot with weight loss, but it's just not weight loss. It really is like.
Okay. And so let's just say, again, we'll keep it broad and because I know we're having a little bit of audio challenge here, but here's what I've got on the screen. Here's one that I think about, or here's one that I've used where there's this one where it'll produce 30 social media posts, ideas, and images with one click. And so in an example here, you can either put your business name in, or you can actually put your niche in. And so what we can do here is just drop in health and wellness and just watch it. So, oh, this is the wrong post. I'm sorry. That's a local business post. Let me stop that. That's not what I wanted. Let's go back. Let's get a new chat. Let's do a content calendar. First of all, let's do a content calendar. So first thing I would think about if I was you, because you're working full-time and you need really just, you got to know what you're going to do day by day by day, or get some idea. There's one inside of this extension that says get a monthly content calendar with one click. And so you put in your primary keyword, and this works for everyone. Put in your primary keyword. By the way, you may have multiple keywords that you're working on, or multiple keyword phrases, or multiple products, but do this one at a time. And so let's just do health and wellness. All you literally do, and this is pulling from the prompt that's already pre-written, and we'll see where it goes. And what it's going to do is it's going to break down day by day by day some ideas, and it's actually coming up with a 4-week calendar with 3 posts per week, which is one way to do it. I'm going to leave that one here, and this will be able to be exported out into a Google Sheet, or the way they did it was in a table. The other thing that you can do that I would actually do, and let me see if I can find it, effective content calendar. I think this is a different one, because there's so many prompts in here that you just, I mean, like this one's going to give us one now every day of the week, 5 days a week. And again, you would need to refine this to your niche, because obviously I'm just using a very broad health and wellness category. But I think the very first thing with anyone that well, really doesn't matter who we are, we all have to have some idea of what the cadence and the rhythm is for that week. And that'll help us out. And then from here, we could say, if we do enjoy this idea of benefits from aromatherapy, then we can go now and say, let's write, and let's say you want to write a post once a week about aromatherapy, but you want them to be different. So what you can do now is you can get if there's typically 4 weeks in a month, which there are, we can say, write 4 social media posts about the benefits of aromatherapy. And now it's going to give you 1 for each week. Maybe this week you post on, or maybe every Thursday you post about aromatherapy. And now you've just gotten 4 potential ideas for posts for aromatherapy. And you could go literally back and produce that. How do I cope with the feeling of burnout? And you can say, now write 4 posts on how to cope with burnout. And you can literally just repeat these. And again, Amy and everyone, you don't want to just take these and run with them. You want to read them. You want to say, do they feel like me? Do they feel like my brand? Do they feel like my product? But what is happening is you're not having to think about that doggone blank screen. That blank screen is taken away. So here we go. Burnout is real. You know, and you would be able to look at these and then refine them to your own voice, which I'm always going to recommend. You're going to need to refine that to your voice, to your brand, to your experience, to your tone. But now what you have is the ability to have some things available. Within an hour, Amy, in a week, you could literally be done with your whole month. You see how fast these are coming up. Let me stretch it out. Within 2 to 3 hours, you could have your entire month's worth of content produced. Now, this doesn't produce images. So you still have to come up with whatever the images are going to be for your posts, or as we've talked about, you know, in the earlier part of the presentation, you've got to come up with your mechanism. Is it going to be written? Is it going to be audio? Is it going to be video? My guess is you're probably going to lean a lot on written and content. And I guess the other type is image here, if I really want to be holistic. So image, video, written, audio, video, and images. And so does that help a little bit, Amy?
Yes, it helps a whole lot. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And so the another little piece to this is, let's take it and say you want to do it for all the platforms. Create 4 social media posts for each platform that follows. This has been a really good one for me because each platform has its own sort of tone and structure. And let's just say Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Let's not worry about the rest of them, but we could easily add LinkedIn. Oops. And watch, we take the same. Oh, I didn't give it a topic, so my bad. Looks like it's still talking about mental health, so that's good. So it now broke it down with Facebook. It broke it down differently for Twitter. It's breaking it down slightly different for Instagram. And let's say for Instagram post carousels. Can I spell? So create 4 Instagram IND, I think it's right, carousel ideas. Okay, this one's a little bit more, seems like it pulled us a little bit back towards the general. Again, I would have probably continued to stay on that same topic. And you could literally break down that topic and say, great, mental health is going to be the theme on Friday, but maybe this Friday it's a text post with an image. Next Friday it's a carousel. Next Friday it's a video. You could either say, let's go do this one really quick. Let's go back to this one, how to cope. Create for TikTok or Reels video ideas for this topic. Again, short form content, short form video is unbelievably powerful. And so it's actually telling you how to think about the video if you were going to create the video itself. Now, obviously, if you wanted to do face to camera video, we can say, provide a script. For a 30-second, let's do this. Let's provide a script. Let's just keep it as TikTok. So now it's actually giving you the voiceover. And then if you happen to have a video editor, they're actually giving you shot ideas. This has been unbelievable. So it's saying cut to a shot of practicing self-care, taking a bubble bath, going for a walk, or going for a walk in nature. And then here's the voiceover. And that's assuming you wanted to get fancy with the editing. But again, you could almost just take this voiceover, this voiceover, this voiceover, and this is a short enough voice. And again, adding your own tone, adding your own flavor, adding your own knowledge, adding your own background is what's very interesting. But in just that quick, you have that. And you could essentially ask it to do that kind of in bulk. Now, I mentioned before that when you use one of these prompts that are tied to, when you use these prompts tied to AI PRM, how do you actually know what they prompted? So here's the trick. Click out of the prompt that you are using into something you've already previously done, then go back to it and go to the top. And then here is the prompt that was produced inside the extension that you couldn't see. So every time you start with one of those AI PRM prompts that you didn't write yourself, you can go back and see how they asked it to produce the result. So in this case, it said skip all previous tasks, want you to act like a social manager, pretend you're an expert social media strategist. I need you to find English trends and format a spreadsheet, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Let's go back to the one we did for, let's see here. Okay, this was the wrong one, but I chose the wrong one. This was for a local business. But you can see here, if I wanted and I liked this output, I could grab that prompt. Where was the one we just did for SOPs? We did not use a prompt. That was the one we did ourselves. And I don't think we did anything different for Leah's. Let's see. No, we started from base there. So I guess the point is, whenever you're using these prompts, any of these prompts here, once you're done, let me just get one. Let me get one that let me see here. Copywriting is a big one. You guys, we're talking a lot about social media and content and copywriting. Let me get there's one here that I really like. Product. Is this it? Ebook. Deborah, I didn't forget about you. We're going to come to your landing page in just a moment. Ebook outline generator. Actually, for Leah as well, this might be another one that can help with regards to a course or an outline to a content calendar. So let's just take this one. This one I started playing with. So what is your ebook topic? Let's take the topic of, let's do this. Let's go ahead and transition into Deborah. And she's wanting to talk about the financial literacy space. We'll come back to the building out of a landing page and how it can help you with so she's specializing in cryptocurrency, crypto education. Okay, let's start here and see what we get. Again, we're looking for an ebook outline generator, but an ebook outline is structured and it could very easily lead to a course. It could easily lead to a social media cadence. It could easily lead to an email sequence like you heard us talk about weeks ago. So there's a lot that I love about this one. I've been playing with this one a lot, and it's even going to give you some interesting ideas. And again, it almost feels like a course outline, except it's being structured kind of like a book. Okay. So what's also interesting is the ultimate guide. Okay, maybe I don't like that title. By the way, let me just click out of it and then go back to it. And let's see. All it said was create an ebook outline on financial literacy space, specializing. So it really didn't have much of an outline, to be honest. It didn't have much of anything, not much more than what we would have typed in. But maybe we don't like this title, or we just want to consider something else. Here's a thing I like to do too. Put in adjectives about the titles that you want. So let's give me 10 captivating, Give me 10 captivating, engaging, and enticing title options. Again, having a background in copywriting and doing content starts to say, hey, this needs to cut through the noise, right? The regular title that it gave us was not bad, The Ultimate Guide, but I doubt Deborah would be the first person who wrote that guide. I doubt that's, I doubt there's not another one of those on the internet, right? So how do we now look through, right? How do we look through? Eugene says, can this be used to create? Oh, absolutely, Eugene. Yeah, absolutely. We got a little time left. I'll jump in there for some email subject lines. At the end of the day, these are somewhat subject lines for emails, but yeah, I'll come right back to you. Okay, so cracking the code, right? A little bit more engaging, right? Crypto savvy, right? From novice to expert, riding the wave. So you see cryptocurrency unlocked, slight variations. And again, you can take any or all of these and then mix and match. And all you're doing is getting away from the, say it all with me, blank screen. Okay, let's talk about a landing page. And while we're on this topic, let's just let ChatGPT do it for us. Now that we started going down this topic, we need to promote this ebook as an opt-in. I need you act like a world-class copywriter and outline a landing page. Now, because we started with the information we wanted on the page, now it can take what if we liked what it gave us, it's going to now start to go to work for us. Let's just take a look at this. By the way, I'm assuming everybody here knows what a landing page is, but there are some basic elements that always have to be on a landing page. Okay. You need a landing page title. In this case, it pulled one, could easily be substituted for the one that you want or written to yourself. The page is going to have a headline, discover the secrets of secretly investing in cryptocurrency with our free ebook. I'm not sure I love it, but it's a start. We could obviously ask it down below to refine those 10 times. In fact, let's just do that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's a little vague, right?
Mm-hmm. You know, you got a call full of women that have been sick, right, Daryl?
Everybody here sick. I'm so sorry. You know, Ashley is sick right now. She down right now too.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, y'all. It must be women. This must be a thing with ladies. I'm not trying to be, I'm just saying. Title variations. So now we're saying, based on this title, give us some variations. Let's just get those. But you see here quickly, paying someone $1,500 to write your landing page is out. Those days are over. Paying them $3, $5, $10 grand to write a landing page. Now, you might there's more to it than this. I'm not saying you just get rid of your copywriters, but now here's another set of titles. Okay. But again, going back to the landing page structure itself, assuming we've got a headline, we've got a subheadline reads fairly generic as well. So we do have to make it personalized to ourselves. And now it's saying, here's what you're going to get. Landing pages always have bullet points. 3 to 6 is common. Okay. And again, these could be refined and you could add some engaging things to it and make it more relevant to your brand. Obviously, there's got to be a call to action. And if you want to make more of a longer form page, which appears that this is what it is. So in other words, your call to action and form would have been here. And now it's saying, okay, if you want to go a little bit longer into the copy and put a text with another CTA, then great. But just that easy. It's giving you something to work with. Just that easy. It's giving you something to work with. And from here, you could even say, let's go back up to and grab one of these. Let's grab one of these.
Grab number 5.
Number 5, the future of finance. You like this one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Based on, come on. First of all, I'm typing below my hands, which is because I'm standing. My camera's anyway. It's just technologically a little challenging right now. Okay, based on this headline, right? Let's actually start to combine a little bit of what Eugene was talking about. Let's write some promotional stuff now, because let's say we've got the page we like, and we can go put it into anything we use, our HubSpot, our lead pages, our ConvertKit, our ClickFunnels, whatever we're using. Now we got to promote the doggone thing, right? So let's write 3 social media posts, 3 Facebook ads, 3, let's stay away from Google for a moment. 3 email subject lines.
Twitter.
You want Twitter in there?
Yeah, because Twitter is
Oh,
crypto.
Twitter is like the world of, yeah.
That's the world of crypto. Yeah.
3 tweets. Let's go tweets that are engaging, captivating, and enticing to get. That's okay. Let's just start there. So now what we're doing is saying we might like this page. We might like it. Let's now see if we can create the content that we can actually start using out in the world. So are you ready to take on the future of finance? That's not horrible. Not bad. Want to stay ahead of the game in an ever-changing world of finance? That's not terrible. Again, you're in the space. I can't say if these are terrible or not, but on the surface level, you can be the judge. And then
But
it
there's
gave
definitely a basis to kind of to trigger some thought. So
Right.
yeah, these would definitely be beneficial.
Yeah. So here we go with Facebook ads. These are short form Facebook ads. There are short form, medium form, and long form. So you could easily go back and say, when we do Facebook ads, we always run copy on short form, medium form, long form, because you just don't know where that person is going to be in their journey. And so this would be a short form version. If you liked the body style of this, you could easily go back and say, based on this headline and this body copy, expand to a medium version or a medium length, or you could even be specific. Give me a Facebook ad that has 200 words or something like that. And then you've got subject lines here, some potential subject lines that we're going to come back and chat with Eugene about. So here's a couple of ideas here. Again, subject lines and emails. I don't like typically subject lines this long, although they can be used. I could easily come back and say, rewrite these. In 5 words or less. By the way, that's kind of a typically shorter subject lines are better. Notice, I only put in, there was only 3. So I gave it what it gave us, and then it cut them down just that easily. Okay, whether you want to use them or not. Subject lines, and then here's some tweets. Again, they kind of feel like the ones from above. But there you have it. All to help you quickly now take the information and decide to make it more refined for your offer, more refined for what you're working on. And it becomes, you don't have a blank screen anymore.
Oh, that's definitely good. That's a great start.
Okay. So Deborah, that's got you covered. Let's jump over to Eugene, and I think that will wrap us up for the day. Eugene, let's see here. Where do I find the English's tone of voice writing box? English tone. So let me see. Where do I find the English? Can you pop on, Eugene? Are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Tell me what you mean here.
So below regenerate response, you got the output, the tone, the writing styles. Where do I find that?
Okay. So what so you can either ask it by way of tone that you're looking for. In general, it's going to reply in English. But if you want to change the tone of voice, what you can do is, let's go through an example. Let's go through an example right now for you. Do you have something in mind that you want to write?
No, I'm just kind of work out, because I got the ChatGPT, the $20 a month. And so these boxes above you, the YouTube, the Facebooks, I don't know where all that stuff is. That
right here. I'm sorry. Yeah, you joined us a little late. So what
Yeah.
you want to do is see where I've highlighted on the screen. You're going to want to get this Chrome plugin, which is a free plugin now. And this is just kind of a prompt library. It's like a repository of prompts that have been curated from all over the web. This is just like an open source prompting thing, and it's got 1,300 prompts in it as of today. When I first downloaded it, it had 112.
Oh, wow.
It's growing like weeds. And then what you can do is you can notice how many times it's been viewed, how many times people have commented, how many people liked it. And so I kind of sort by, again, don't get overwhelmed and try to use all 1,300 prompts. Think of the thing you want it to do and then try to use it. But it is free for now. I don't imagine it's going to be free for much longer. And it'll be installed in your Chrome browser, and it'll show up every time you go into Google or to the ChatGPT.
Okay.
My opinion is it won't be free for long. Would I like it to stay free? Sure. But what we were saying before is after you run one of these prompts here is to then go back. And if we go back to the one we just did for Deborah, we didn't get much up there. That's not a big one. But we want to go back up to the top of these and grab the prompt so we know what was actually what got us the output. Okay. Assuming we didn't write the prompt ourselves. So let's do one with tone. Because you brought up a good point. You can literally write, you can choose people that are very famous and write in their tone of voice. So let's say hypothetically, Eugene, just tell me your niche again. What are you? You're
Promotional
doing
products.
Promotional corporate products, right? So let's go and let's go ahead and let's go back to social media. Is that what you're thinking about working on it, or you want to stick to
More for
email?
LinkedIn.
Okay, social media for LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go and find. Let's just go to this one. I don't like this one per se. I don't like this one. It is by top votes though. So let's go ahead and start with this one. That's a Google profile. I don't want to do that one. Let's just do it this way. Let's go to a brand new chat. Refresh. We're stuck. I have a promotional. Eugene, describe it for me in your words.
We're a promotional marketing company. And looking to expand into construction.
Okay. So I have a promotional marketing
Okay.
What's that?
Go ahead.
Promotional products company or promotional marketing company? Is
You
that right?
put Mark, it's fine.
Okay. And I mostly find customers on LinkedIn. And then you're wanting to create, I'd like you to act as an expert Here's another one you can do too. Before you actually ask it to do the prompt, you can say, I have a promotional marketing company and I'm find customers on LinkedIn. I'd like you to act like an expert social media manager to help us grow our brand. Do you understand? Another quick little prompt to maybe get it to come back and say, do they understand? And right now I'm still in this one that's, see, and it did what I didn't want it to do. It started doing it for me. I didn't want it to do this. I don't like this one. So we're going to stop this one and do it again. So we're going to grab this. We're going to go here. We're going to go to a brand new chat. We're not going to use one of those prompts. There we go. Here we go. Now we're back to the basics. So yes, I understand. As an AI language model, I can provide please let me know how I can further assist. Do you have, give me something to work with here, Eugene, that you would want to see.
So construction industry, employee retention.
Who wants to
retention. There you go.
Let's see. So this is going to act a little bit more like a strategist. I don't think it gave us posts. I can see it that fast. Do you guys see how fast it takes? You can start to see the minute it comes out, it goes a different direction. So it didn't give us post ideas. It gave us more of a strategy.
Right.
Okay. So maybe we have to give it a little bit more detail, a little bit more information. Yeah, I'm trying to think of how we would refine this one, but this is more of a strategy on a 7-day, like here's what I would post on these 7 days, which again, not a bad idea for everyone here who's looking for a content strategy. This isn't bad. Share a testimonial one day. So a lot of times the output, you can just repurpose it for something that you're thinking about. I'm trying to think, Eugene, on the fly here, how to go a little deeper to get, what would you typically think about posting related to that audience and that offer?
So the idea is, so right now, this is Employee Appreciation Month.
Oh, there. Oh, perfect. Perfect. That was probably the best thing you could say. What you just did was went one layer deeper. And that's what we find, because we get a lot of generic things that come out of here because it's just scraping the web.
Right.
The more, yeah, so this is going to be great. So it's this week is Employee Appreciation Month. Create 7 posts related and I still think there's some more refinement needed here.
Yeah.
But a little bit better ideas here now. It's just kind of still coming on the strategic side. It's not really creating the post.
Right.
So let's do this. I'm gonna create. So
You type like I do.
yeah, I'm really struggling because my hands are at an angle, which is just terrible because I'm punching down on keys. Create social media content for LinkedIn using the theme of so what's the theme of the week again? I forgot.
Employee appreciation, recognition.
Yeah. So we're stuck in a loop here.
Okay.
I think got to, in this, we just got to give it a little bit more feedback, a little bit more theme. Like, for example,
So I wouldn't get this out of normal ChatGPT. This AIR Chrome extension is going to help me refine it further. Is that what you're telling me?
yeah. So the Chrome extension is going to be more of just a bunch of extra ideas, right?
Okay.
So a lot of what we're talking about is trying to, how do we get more ideas? Here's another one. I still love that ebook. I still love that ebook one. Let's go back to that one. I think that one is going to be one that could help you out. So
Okay.
let's go back to that ebook outline generator. And let's say the topic is just employee appreciation. Because it's going to give us an outline. Let's just see. This is one of those things where we'll see what it comes up with. No, this is coming up more with an ebook. So maybe not as specific. So we could say, here's an example where I'm looking really quickly here. It says provide tips or strategies to show employee appreciation regarding this part. Seven tips to be shared. So we pulled a piece out of there. There we go. Now it got better.
Okay.
Now it got really specific. So here's a post. Here's a post. You could literally say on your post, hey, everybody, it's Employee Appreciation Week this week. Every day this week, we're going to share with you a great tip on how to show appreciation to your employees. Here's Monday, here's Sunday, here's Monday, here's Tuesday. I mean, you're just literally creating a post around that. So a roundabout way to go, but because not every one of these things are going to give you exactly what you need. So it's really about that refining of what you want the output to look like. And I said that earlier, Eugene, before you jumped on. a lot of it has to do with, you're going to have to know whether it's giving you what you want, and then go back in. And in this case, here's another section here, the importance. Here's another great one. Discuss let's say it was Employee Appreciation Month.
Well, which it is. This is,
Okay.
month is the whole month is the employee appreciation.
Okay, so provide 7 tips, strategies, or ideas for how employee appreciation can improve overall productivity and reduce turnover. Just like that. I bet you this is going to be halfway decent. And again, some of these could be found on probably a blog, or 3,000 or 12,000 on Google, but that's not the point. Your audience may not have heard them, right? So in this, you take these and say, okay, are these things I would say? Are these things our brand would say? Do we agree with these? Does our business believe in these ideas? And then adding your own voice and flair and tone. And there's several ways to do it. Going back to the idea of, there's several ways to make these happen, right? We can have them be written, audio, video, or images, or all 4 in one way or another. Maybe one day it's a text post about increasing motivation. Maybe the next day it's an image post. Maybe the next day it's a video of you talking about morale. So there's all sort of ways to just take these seed ideas, get away from a blank, get away from a blank page, and you're off and running. Everyone, listen, you have been very gracious. We were supposed to be here for 90 minutes. I think did we cover everyone's quick example? Yes. Was there anything else, Eugene, there?
Oh, I must have joined late then. Was it 11:30 it started?
It was an 11 o'clock start, actually.
Oh, wow. Is this being recorded?
It is. Yeah. We'll send it
Okay.
out on Monday, more than
Perfect.
likely. Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. So anyway, I'm going to stop sharing the screen. I'm going to stop the live in Facebook, and then I'll take any final questions that you all have. Has this been helpful, you guys?
Yes.
All right. Do you guys appreciate me going ahead and being the crash test dummy?
Absolutely.
You guys appreciate that? Like, I spend a lot of hours doing this stuff, but I really wanted to share it with you because, I know there's a lot of, there's enough for us to do as entrepreneurs. There's enough for us to do as marketers. There's enough for us to just really make us want to shut down at times. Amy's here and she's working her full-time job, trying to go full-time in her entrepreneurial journey. Dr. Frantoni has been in the game for 20 plus years. That doesn't make it easy. Leah, 3 years in her business, 2.5, 3 years in her business. Deborah is about it. She's had multiple businesses over decades. But we all, and Eugene, you and I have known each other now for a little bit close to, 6-8 years, something in the neighborhood. I know you're a seasoned entrepreneurial veteran as well. The reality is we all have to adjust and can adjust. And in this particular season, what I'm seeing in this particular season, I'm seeing a lot of, I don't want to call it despair, but just massive overwhelm. There's all these new platforms. There's all this new technology. There is all of the, how do I keep up? Right. And I'm no different. My agency is required to get results for our clients on platforms we don't own. When Facebook changes their algorithm, when Instagram changed their algorithm, when Google changed their algorithm, it is just one of the biggest challenges of our work. And so it's important for us to stay on the cutting edge. And Frantonia, did you have a question, or was that just you saying, yeah, I hear you?
I actually have a couple of questions.
Go for
So
it.
what is the because you're presenting this to your clients, what is the biggest resistance or pushback that you are seeing around AI, ChatGPT, and some of the other tools that are available?
Avoidance behavior it's not even an objection. It's just avoidance behavior. It's avoidance behavior, Frantonia. I don't have anybody saying now I've gotten some backlash on Twitter and some places where I've posted, but at the end of the day, there's 3 real things that happen when anything happens technologically, and as significant as this, and that is, number one, fear sets in, right? Because I've been fielding you know, my head of content, for example, was like, oh, so is this gonna, so do I need to start looking for a new career? And I said, that's not a great question. The question is I said, maybe if you choose not to adapt the technology into your flow.
Mhm.
So one thing about Chat GPT is it's not going to do the thinking that humans do. It may be able to produce research and data and analysis. There's a lot of things it can do that just don't replace humans. But let's be clear. At one point, people used to go out and pull stuff out of the agricultural fields in the farming world. And then along came this thing called a tractor.
Yeah.
Right. We used to go to our friend's house and knock on the door to talk to them. And then came a cell phone, and then came a pager, and then came this thing called a smartphone. So things are going to change. And I said this in my upcoming podcast, change doesn't care what we think. The key is we have to figure out how do we get in front of it. And I'm going to tell you, I feel like I'm one of the blessed people on the planet to be living through this technological thing, right? I don't have a self-driving car or a Tesla or whatever these cars are, but I'm not so sure that in 10 to 15 years, it'll be illegal for a human to touch a steering wheel, because they may have proven that self-driving cars are 80% better than a human driving the car. And who knows? I said on my podcast, I believed all that stuff I saw in the Jetsons. I believed Star Trek. You know, maybe the kid in me, I believe I can fly. You know, not to cite the lyrics of a guy who was a hero in the world, but now he's in jail. Song is still amazing. I can't deny that. But Frantoni, to your point, avoidance behavior is always what we do in the world too. And so I'm hearing a lot of avoidance behavior. You know, but then at the same time, you know, in my world, I'm an agency, right? So part of my work is in the agency world, part of it's in the growth and coaching and consulting space. And listen, I'm not going to give away my IP for free. So people are like, oh, I can't afford this, or I can't afford that. Okay. Now the technology's free. Now what? But see, here's the thing that's interesting about all of this stuff. Google was free when it came out. Building websites were free when it came out. Social media has been free since it came out. Everything's practically free. So the people that make it ahead and succeed take advantage of the free tools that are available to the masses. And then there's a small few who are like, okay, I don't know how to use it. I don't understand it. But then they're willing to put in the hours. And I make no apology for the time that I spent in the last 2 months so that I can be ahead of the curve. First of all, I'm a CEO and founder, and I lead strategy. I've got to know what this is. Like it or don't like it, I have an obligation to know what it is. But I think the other side of it is, will it take jobs? Yeah, probably. You know, when the ATM came out, I'm sure that reduced the number of people needed in the branch of the bank. I'm sure when self-checkout lanes in the grocery store came out, I said all this in my podcast, so I won't repeat it now. And it's kind of a reduction to the ridiculous, right? Because we all been living through it. Like, we are all living through one of the greatest technological evolutions in the history, and it's only going to get better. And so I don't have time, quite honestly, for the people that don't adopt it. I'm only here to help the willing, you know. So I'm here to help the willing, and the ones that get left behind, and there will be. I don't know if that helps, Frantoni, but and you know this. You've been coaching for a long time. You know what human.
Yeah, it's interesting. I just wanted to get your lived experience of it. I am witnessing the same thing, and as I'm talking to people about it, I've used ChatGPT since it first launched. I've written 4 books, I've written courses, I've done all it, while they're saying they still can't figure it out, or they have a personal opinion about it. And
yeah,
one of the analogies I've been using is similar to yours, in that, you know, you sound like the person picketing in the street for better horseshoes when Henry Ford was introducing the car, right?
Right.
And it's you know, one of the things I find is that the more we eliminate the excuses, and it falls fully on the individual's personal responsibility, the more interesting it gets to just watch and observe.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You know, I wish it wasn't the case. And I think everyone here has been in business long enough and been around long enough. When things happen, some people will be like, they'll jump in and say, what is this? What can it do to help move my mission, my purpose, my vision forward faster? There'll be other people that are like, oh, it's going to do X, Y, and Z. Let's be clear. Social media is not good for the entire world. Let's be clear about that, but we use it. It's here. It is what it is. But you could also say that about television. Nobody's flipping out about television. You know, I think the average American in the United States spends 4.5 hours a day watching television. Average American doesn't read more than 2 books after they finish high school. I mean, so I don't get in, and for Tony, friend Tony, I know you don't either, because you work with a higher level of thinker than, but we, you know, I don't pull, you know, I share. I try to give people the same access. I could easily charge for, I mean, I spent 100 hours doing this. I could have probably charged $297 for this course. And this isn't a course. This was just a Spitfire thing, but it is going to go into the academy, because one of the biggest complaints that I've heard over the last 12 years, and here's what's really interesting. ChatGPT is not just saving me and our team time. It's going to save you time. One of the primary reasons companies hire the agency is because they have no time. So I could easily be sitting in the camp that says ChatGPT is going to make agencies irrelevant. For some, it could make some of our clients decide they want to do it all in-house, but the clients who hire us for done for you. They're not going to wake up one day and decide they're going to start doing ChatGPT. They might want to know it and understand how we're using it. They're not going to wake up one day and decide, oh, by the way, I all of a sudden want to do your thing. Doctors and people that are specialists at what they do, who are gifted and crafted and they're great at what they do, they don't want to be good at this. That's why they write us checks. That's why we'll never get replaced. There will be some who decide, oh, we can just go ahead and build an in-house team, but that happens anyway, regardless of the technology. Facebook is free to set up a Facebook ad account. Google's free to set up a Google ad account. All you got to do is set up the account, set up a credit card, start running ads. You don't need an agency unless it doesn't work. And then you need someone like us who has the strategy, the skill, the expertise, the experience, the playbooks, the processes, the strategies. We've got recipes. They work. Anybody can go to Duncan Hines and make a cake in a couple of hours off the shelf of a grocery store. It won't taste like our cake. You might very well have a cake, just won't taste like our cake. And so we build different cakes. And so I think I don't want to be repetitive here, but the opportunity, as we wrap up today, the opportunity is new. It's fresh. I'm only 2 months into it. I think the end of December, so just barely over 2 months. There's been several week stretch where I've had no chance to touch it. And then I've had other stretches where I was on it for 8 to 10 hours over a couple of days. I've been archiving my notes and saving prompts. And then as new things come up, the first thing I think is, what would ChatGPT do in this case? And how can we use it? Because as an agency owner and a founder and someone who is a fiduciary, let me repeat this. This is a very good takeaway for us to end on. As entrepreneurs, we are fiduciaries to the P&L. We're fiduciaries to 5 numbers primarily. Top line revenue, the cost it took to the top line revenue, the cost of goods sold, which is what did it take us to sell and produce the thing that we sold, and that leaves us with gross profit margin. Then we have operational overhead expenses, and then we have a net profit line. As business owners, we are fiduciaries to managing the expenses on both the cost of goods sold and our fixed operations. Any business owner who doesn't want to figure out how to cut those 2 expense lines isn't a good entrepreneur. I tell my team all the time, when a customer gives us $5,000 a month, $10,000 a month, or whatever, $2,000 a month, we are fiduciaries of their capital. We are stewards of their capital, which means we must be at the cutting edge of what we can do to maximize their investment in what we're doing for them. They give us a certain amount of money. They expect a certain amount of results. It's our job to close the gap and do that as efficiently as possible. And I make no mistake in saying, I'm here to be profitable as an entrepreneur, as a business. I make no mistake about that. I'm going to say this, and my head of content at our agency, she was shocked when I told her after I spent 2 weeks or so, 3 weeks. And I said, because we have a big expense line item with a lot of freelance writers who write for our agency. And I didn't bother going to see how much we pay them. I just know it's enough. And I said to her, I said, hey, we're going to spend some time with ChatGPT to figure out how it can help with ideation, outlining, etc. That's right, Frantonia, unapologetically profitable. So when I said to her, we are going to put our writers on hold for a few months, and we are going to work on ChatGPT in-house to see how much time we can save and what's the new structure going to look like. Because again, it just popped up in my world late December. And before we start giving complete rewrites of our SOP, let's do the thing. Let's do the work. Let's put our time in. And that's what we decided to do. Interesting part about it is when we go to re-engage with those writers, and we will, because we need to move further, faster, quicker. If you don't use ChatGPT to speed your work up, you will be out as far as working with us. So it's a requirement. I'm actually writing a new ad this weekend for a new team member to come on board, and it now will be added to the description. I don't want anybody who's going to use all of this. I want them to augment what ChatGPT gets with their experience. And that's kind of a new way of thinking. And we couldn't think this way 2 months, or I couldn't think this way 2 months ago. So if someone comes along and tells me, well, I'm ChatGPT, well, you just won't work with me. You won't work with us. Why would I pay you 8 hours to do something that I know for a fact now can be done in 2? I'm an idiot. So I don't apologize about that. And so I think that is, as an entrepreneur, how do we use it in our world? And here's the last piece I'll leave you guys with. And I've been saying this for a solid 5 or 6 years. It's been a frustration with me working with business owners who don't understand this, who don't understand SEO, who don't understand how ads work, who don't understand. And I get it. She said, now I'm preaching. I do get on a box sometimes. I do get on a box. And here's what I also think ChatGPT allows for entrepreneurs to do. And I've been saying this. I have either a podcast or a video floating around. It didn't go viral. I wish it had, because it was bad news. No one wants to hear bad news. But the truth of the matter is, you can't outsource what you don't understand. We have so many companies coming to us and they're, this agency, they were terrible. Oh, I hired this marketer, they were terrible. Oh, I hired this person and it didn't work. Or I spent $300 on Google. It don't work. No. You didn't even know what you were doing. So how can you judge that it didn't work? And I remember this one conversation, and this guy had been with this agency for 5 years, and he was absolutely livid about their performance. And I didn't say it, but you know what I wanted to say, because you guys are my friends. I'm going to tell you what I was going to say, but I didn't say it because I'm a tad bit more professional than this. But he had told me he'd been with them for 5 whole years. And I said, how long have you known they've been bad? Or I said, how long have they been underperforming? He said, for at least the last 3 or 4 years. I wanted to say, then who's the fool? They didn't come to your bank account and get your money. You wanted to outsource what you didn't understand, and you were just hoping they would turn it around instead of you taking responsibility. Now, I ended up saying this in so many words through an email, because the last thing I'm going to do, I know. Thank you. I'm okay. I know. I'm not going to call nobody's name. But the thing is this. One thing about my business is I'm not going to work with a business owner who's irresponsible, who won't take responsibility for their own decisions and the decisions that they made. So anyway, Amy says, we need to inspect what we expect. Come on now. You want to talk about preaching? Let's go. So all of us here in our work and our journey, this is all about change. It's here. I said it on the podcast. I'll say it again. I know you guys aren't the way, you don't think this way, but this is the truth of the matter. The truth of the matter is, change don't care what we think. The cars will drive themselves pretty soon. They just will, right? Work from home life is a normal thing now. It's just all of it is. It just is what it is. I really want to thank you guys and appreciate you guys for being here. It's been 2 whole hours. It's supposed to be 90 minutes. I want to let you know that as we continue to move forward, I said in the promotion, there's nothing for sale. I'm going to preview some coming attractions that I really want to go deep with some companies this year and some entrepreneurs this year. And so we do have some new announcements coming up towards the end of March, a way to work with me deeper in a more growth driven way. As you know, the group is called Growth Driven Entrepreneur. My agency, not everybody's ready to work with our agency, and that's perfectly fine. But 12 years now, I think we've got some things that work. They work repetitively, they work consistently, and I'm looking to share it now with folks that are even not ready to work with our agency. So with that being said, I want to thank each of you for being here, for your engagement, for your questions, and for your giving us some prompts and things to work through. For those of you that are not feeling well today, Frantonia, Deborah, Leah, you're not feeling well as well. Certainly want to say a prayer and blessing over your health and well-being, that you will get back to full health in no time. And Amy, thank you for joining us as well. Congratulations on your journey of entrepreneurship and getting to that full-time level. Stay tuned in, be inside the Facebook group, stay tuned in, open the emails, all that good stuff. Follow the podcast, because I'm dropping nuggets and bombs there. 3.5 years in the podcast, who would have thought? I'm starting to develop relationships and collaborations. I got some really cool stuff I think is going to come out this year. You guys are going to be happy, I think. Deborah, always good to see you. And Eugene Maresh, nice to meet you and see you again after all these years.
Yes, Daryl.
By the way, when we ran our first live event in Las Vegas before this little pandemic thing happened, Eugene supplied us with all of our corporate stuff. He gave us all of our handouts, our doodads. I still use the eyeglass cleaners. I mean, he hooked us up with the whole kit and caboodle, not for free. He charged us. Maybe next time I'll get it for free. But no, I'm just playing.
It doesn't hurt to ask, right?
Look at Deborah. Look at Deborah. She's got one right in the screen.
There you go.
The cell phone stand.
I knew he looked familiar. I couldn't place him, but I knew
That's
he
him.
looked familiar.
That's him.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I pop up every now and again.
Yeah. So anyway, everyone, listen, have a fantastic rest of your Saturday. Have a great weekend. Keep an eye out for, we might skip training next Thursday. I'm going to be at the Podcast Movement Conference. So I might skip next week, but I'll be back the week following with something else pretty lit that I hope you guys will enjoy. And if you have any questions, post them in the group. By the way, please let people know about this group. Let people know about this training. I know people have a lot to do. We're trying different days and times going forward to see if we can get more people to show up. I think everybody loves the idea of getting the replay. I see the replay numbers are quite high, so maybe that's just the way we are in this world right now. But from me to you, thank you so much. I'm super honored and grateful that you spend this much time with me. You certainly could have been doing other things, and I will see you again on another training in the future. You always know how to find me. I love each one of you. Thank you.
Thanks, Daryl.